One. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited today to be with Dr. Liu. Dr. Christopher Liu is a well-known author. He's written more than about 4 books on Amazon, and also he's an honored guest for a talk to give a TED talk. So we're really excited to hear about that today. Good morning, Dr. Liu.
Thanks, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Definitely. I just wanted to kind of get the audience to know a little bit more about you. So can you just kind of introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in Houston, and I went to Baylor for medical school, part of the MD PhD program. Got my PhD in bioengineering, and then further on, I matched into orthopedic surgery, and it's interesting because I was always an entrepreneur by heart. So really, I during medical school I started 2 companies investing in real estate and stocks and options. So
Mhm.
by my senior year of medical school, I had already been generating a income on the side that allowed me to be financially free and independent. So
That's really awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. I
yeah.
obviously want to learn a little bit more about what got you into this whole financial independence, because that's the main
uh,
thing that you're doing now. Is that right?
yeah, exactly. So I tell this story because it was September 11th, 2001, and I'm sitting in the library studying, and all of a sudden on the news is a plane hit the World Trade Center.
Right.
And at first I thought it was just an accident, but later on, it was a terror attack. So, but it really opened my eyes to the fact that you're no a job is no longer there's no such thing as job stability in today's society anymore. So in the past you could have a high income job and it would pretty much guarantee your future economic viability. But so 9/11, a lot of my uh, friends, they were in the tech sector and they just graduated, had jobs, but a lot of them lost their jobs because of 9/11. But
Mhm.
luckily I had time, so I could prepare myself. So I started reading a lot of books in my spare time outside of classes on finance, economics, entrepreneurship, real estate, stocks, anything I could get my hands on, because I knew there would be another 9/11. So 8 years. So 2008 was the next crisis, right? So and in that time I was more prepared. I had education, knowledge. I had 2 companies, so I was able to take advantage of the opportunities rather than be caught off guard.
Mhm.
So in 2008, I started investing heavily in real estate and stocks and options. And by 2016, I was financially free and I was able to retire early.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and then that's when I started my freelance consulting company, writing books, doing digital health consulting, coaching, speaking.
Mhm.
So,
That's really awesome. Not too many. I don't know if you shared this with me as well, but not a lot of physicians are very entrepreneur minds, if I may say that. So having there's a few sect of us that are entrepreneur minds. So
uh-huh.
it's fascinating. But I have a question for you, Dr. Liu.
Yeah.
You are in the healthcare, the business that never ends. So what would you be worrying about financial stability? You're financially stable as a physician, would I would think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the thing is, it's really dichotomous because as physicians, we have um, we have sort of security, quote, job security.
Hmm.
We're high income professionals. We get paid well. We're respected. But the problem is that we are we're tied to our time. So our time is not scalable in terms of we have to do a certain number of procedures. We have to see patients. Um, on top of that, we're also answerable to these corporate CEOs, insurance companies, lawyers, these regulatory entities. So anything in that system falls apart, we're out of a job. So really, you are sort of like a high income earner and stable. But as you can see with this COVID-19 crisis, a lot of hospitals are now they need a lot of staff, but they don't have the resources to pay their staff.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
and it's just going to get worse and worse. Hopefully, as physicians, physician entrepreneurs, we can open our eyes and start to see how much far behind and how much we have to be able to prepare for the future.
Definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
And honestly, like people are not ready for this. That's the thing that you had to mention that. I believe in one of our prior conversations, it took some time off to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I I took a couple years off, and I was that's when I was full-time real estate investor. So that's when I was sharpening and honing my skill sets, and then I also had the funding and opportunity to participate in the bull market that started in 2009.
Mm.
So really, it's a different skill set to be able to become financially independent and financially free.
Mhm.
So that's a skill set that physicians have to develop.
Definitely. And mind you, we are all starting at least minus 300
Yeah,
$1,000 a year.
yeah,
So a lot of
exactly.
us are in a lot of debt.
Yeah,
And we are not financially independent. I love that what you're using. I think we are tied by chains of loans and paying back. So we work for these companies are trying to forgive our loans, or we're tied to a contract for 10 years or longer just because we have to pay our loans. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's
definitely,
yeah,
it's a big thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of hear about your companies. You mentioned two companies. What are your companies' names? What do you offer?
Yeah, so one company is heavily invested in real estate. So those I have a well, it was 10 holdings, and now I downsized to 6 just so that I could free up my more time to do more consulting, speaking, writing. So that's the sort of passive income that allowed me to become financially free and retire. I have
Mhm.
another business that's heavily invested in equities investing. We do a little of options trading, and we're divesting into gold and silver and commodities. Um,
Oh.
but then I also my other company is more of a what I call passion income. So that's where I'm
Mhm.
leveraging my skill set as an MD and an entrepreneur, and I'm a consultant to digital health startups.
Oh.
So that's one thing, and I also have an education company where I wrote 4 books. I speak actively on the importance of financial education for physicians,
Mhm.
and I just created my online digital product. So those are the companies that I'm involved with.
That's really exciting. I
Yeah.
want to hear more about your books. So you've written 4 books. How old are
Yes.
you, if you don't mind me asking?
41.
41. Four
Yeah.
books by 41.
Yeah. I wrote.
That's pretty great.
So
That's awesome. How did you do that? What got you into writing? Were you always a good writer?
yeah.
What is it?
Well, I think I've always been a content creator, so as a kid, I was always writing papers and things like that. My very first report was a book summary that was placed in the local library, so I became sort of well known for that. But really, and then also the thing I loved about PhD was that I was always writing and speaking and presenting my findings. So that really
That's right.
helped in my later career. So, but really, I wrote my first book, which is really my autobiography of how I became financially free and independent, and was able to share these stories and help physicians with career transitions and physicians become more financially educated. So I wrote that, and also because I got so many requests to hear about my story and so many client coaching. So that's why I chose to write the book so that I could refer my clients to that book so that they could I wouldn't have to say the same story over and over. So
That's awesome.
plus it's passive income, and then
Yeah, definitely.
it's also good for my brand too because I can when I tell people I've written 4 books, it adds a greater sense of value.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, and credibility, of course.
yeah,
I want you all to know that these books are easily, you can find them on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and write doctor's name, Christopher Loo. That's Loo.
yeah,
And it's really exciting books. I've taken a quick look at them, and I'm actually going to get my own copy. Maybe I'll get you to
yeah.
autograph it sometime.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
What's the most sold books out of those 4?
The recent ones were my autobiography, and then my third book, which is a book on starting your consulting company. So that's been really I think it's 100 purchases within the first 2 months or so. So
Oh,
that was quite good.
that's very good.
And then my next book about freelance writing. A lot of people that are interested in writing purchase that book as well. But I
Great.
think a lot of physicians are interested in the consulting portion and also in the just how do I get financially free and start my own company and how do I transition out of clinical medicine. So
That's awesome. You mentioned earlier you've done your PhD. What was your dissertation in, or what was your focus?
it was in using nanotechnology for molecular imaging and molecular therapy. So
Excellent. All right. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm so excited to hear. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 kind of put a little pause on this, but
uh-huh.
you are going to be a TED speaker. You're going to be speaking on TED, which is really big for our audience that doesn't know TED. TED is one of the huge, medium for a lot of scientists and a lot of people that are, of innovative that go and talk about their exciting projects or research or idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really a great opportunity for me. It actually it took me 2 years to actually secure it. It's quite a lengthy process, and you have to submit your idea and you have to pitch it. So, um, but it's gonna be held in October. Hopefully, this crisis boils over, so nothing gets delayed or canceled.
Yeah.
So, but it's gonna be talking about the top 10 disruptive trends for the next decade and how you can use those trends to flourish.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
Can we get a little sneak preview? Just a little bit of what should our customers, or sorry, our audience be looking forward to?
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna journey my story, like I told you, and like how it took a lot of courage to, walk away from an orthopedic surgery career, and then it's gonna talk about leveraging technology, channeling creativity, and using your and embracing fear to flourish. So once the link is out, I'll send it out to all my email lists and all my guests and hosts and everything. So yeah,
That's awesome. So am I invited to this or what?
yeah, definitely.
Where is it taking place?
It's in League City in
Okay,
Houston, Texas. So
excellent. I love Texas, so I will
yeah,
be visiting for sure.
excellent.
The other thing that I wanted to get people to know about is your course. You created a course. You're a
Yeah.
man of many things, but tell me about the course and how can our audience sign up for it, and what are they getting out of this course?
Oh yeah. So I'm launching this course in later on in the next few weeks. Generate a lot of press and publicity. So it's actually got about 70 videos right now, all encompassing real estate and equities and options. So it's going to go through the step-by-step process of how to evaluate a investment, how to secure funding, how to market your properties, and how to generate income. So, and on top of that, it's got several bonuses. So it has a lot of my prior webinars. It's got the two versions of my books in audio format. You also get a free consultation coaching call with me if you sign up as well. So I'm offering a lot of bundles and packages. So you get to talk to me, and you get to access to the course as well as all of the books. So
Very
and
good.
then
I know the course is in final phases, so if this information is not out there yet, but
yeah.
what are the pricing, and can we
Oh
offer something for our audience? Maybe a little discount or something?
yeah, definitely. So it's gonna debut at $397 for the entire package, but for your audience, it's gonna be discounted at $272, and then plus I'm throwing in all the bonuses. The 1 hour coaching call with me, and then plus the you'll get a autograph version of all four of my books sent to you, free of charge. So yeah, for your audience.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to kind of sharing this with them because this is really important, guys. This is very important to be financially stable. Like what Dr. Liu has mentioned, a lot of us, we live and go about life just making our income from the job that we're working, and we're almost tied into this, contract that we do whatever our boss says, and if our boss decides that goodbye, then we're done, and we're no income. So we
Yeah.
always need to be financially stable. If you notice that Dr. Liu here had a few businesses. He has invested in different things, which is something commonly we talk about, which is the diversification, right? You need to be able to have different things that succeed. So if one is low at one point, the other one is doing maybe better, so that you are not putting all your eggs in one basket. Is that right, Dr. Lou?
Yeah, exactly. What I describe it as is developing multiple streams of side income is insurance against financial calamities. So,
Love it.
9/11, the real estate, COVID-19,
Mhm.
changes in healthcare, all of that. So,
I love it. We're going to end with one last question. A lot of our viewers are healthcare providers, including physicians, nurses, and so on and so forth.
uh-huh.
And the number one thing that I get asked, Dr. Lou, is I'm scared on starting this whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Financial stuff, numbers, real estate, lawyers, legalities. What's one advice to kind of ease their their anxiety, right? We talk about wellness and wholeness
Yeah.
to remain well whole
Uh-huh.
and still be financially stable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question because I suffer from all of you. You're not alone. So it took me 8 years to realize, from the initial impression that medicine wasn't a good fit for me to the point of walking away. So it took me 8 years. But for a lot of the viewers, the number of resources that we have these days, so it shortens that time frame. The second thing is you have to look at it in terms of because clients ask me all the time. I describe it to them as skydiving. So you're on the edge of the plane and you're about to jump, but that fear is But once you take that leap, you're going to be okay. It's just that fear. So you just have to take that first step, and knowing that everything in the end will work out, which it has. If I look back at the last 20 years of my journey, never have I been homeless or without any income or without any food or in physical danger. So it's all fear. So
Definitely, and a lot of times, I mean, my background is in psychiatry, so
uh-huh.
if I make sure and add to that is that fear is oftentimes based in reality. It's true, right? That we are worried. We hear stories about people that financially take on a business or do certain things, and then they fail. But the idea is that you, especially if you are on the younger end, is that you do need to take sometimes risks and do sometimes learn to find ways in order to be financially stable, like if you learned with Dr. Lou. And I think very commonly is you find things that are stable. Like, real estate is one of those things where if you do a good job and learn it well, you can almost guarantee passive income from home.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I also think that our training forces us to almost think of life as a linear path, which really life doesn't really work that way. But as physicians, we're taught, to medical school, residency, fellowship, job, work for 50, 60 years and retire. But really, life doesn't really work that way. And it's all shifting mindsets, how you go from just embracing risk and embracing fear. Uh,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm excited to learn more about your course. I myself want to learn a little bit more. I'll be one of the first people to sign up.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is one last thing is, do you talk about retirement and things like that in your books, or will you be maybe eventually, if you haven't, you're gonna maybe create videos on that?
Yes, yeah. I'm actually I'm working on a course set of videos right now talking about early retirement and what to do after once you become financially independent and free. How you create streams of passion income. So that's either consulting, speaking, writing, whatever is your passion. I'm For me, it's consulting, speaking, and writing. So that's what the course is going to be about. But it'll talk about retirement strategies. It'll talk about what I call life hacking, and all of these different topics as well. So,
Excellent. How can people sign up for your course? What's
uh,
your website?
oh yes, so my website is it's Dr. Chris Liu MD PhD .com.
Is it DR or is it DOCTOR?
DR.
Okay, can you spell it for our audience just so they
Sure.
can get it?
It's www.drchris Chris, Chris, Lou, MD, PhD.com. Alternatively, if they don't do that, they can actually contact me at Dr. Christopher Liu, MD, PhD at gmail.com, and I can get them in touch with all of the resources as well. So.
Thank you so much for your time today. This has been really exciting. I really enjoyed speaking with you today.
All right. Well, thanks, Ahmed.